Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's review as the Griquas just lost out to the Sharks 33 points to 34 last night in Kimberley. And just a good game for the view. A ridiculous game when you think that the ball sailed over for the Griquas for the penalty which they thought won them the game. Over the sort of 17, literally the sort of the 80th minute went over. The ball was probably still in the air. And yet the Sharks managed to kick possession, Spoon Corsi, an incredible jump to win the back possession from the Sharks. And then the conceded penalty and Curwin Bosch slots it through the poles. But a game of errors it's just we continuously talk about certain things not being up to scratch, like tackling. We get into that in a bit. But a game which sort of really did illustrate that, and a game where, much like the Pumas, it's kind of like the sides like Griquas, Pumas, to a certain extent, the Lions just don't know how to win. They just don't know how to get over the line yet. We'll discuss it a bit more here, but please do consider subscribing. Bottom right-hand corner, they smash like as well in the video. Jump into the comments. Let me know what you thought of the game itself. So a game where the Griquas should have won, and they'll be waking up this morning thinking we should have done better. We had to have done better. And I think that, you look at the tackle stats, and it paints the picture. And every week, and I know I start to sound like stuck record, and because we say every week, we sit there saying, oh, the defenses are good enough. But to put it in perspective, I think when Argentina beat the All Blacks, first of all, what an amazing result that was. It was something like a ludicrous stat, like they missed one of their first tackles that they missed was, in late in the game, and they just didn't miss their tackles, and that is what you have to do. The Griquas made 97 tackles, but missed 25. You can't miss 25 tackles. The Sharks made 72 tackles, but missed 17. So it's just the tackling is poor at the moment. The defense is poor, which is concerning when you think in the national setup, the Springboks were so good on defensively in the World Cup, and that was such a big part of their game last year. That now domestically, and you look, you can sit there saying that it's still getting up to grips and everything. Argentina haven't played a game in a year, and yet they were from the get-go, they were sharp. And it's long past time where there were excuses that can be made for players just not making their tackles. But you look at the positives, some very big performances from guys, especially from some of the Griquas players. I thought Gideon van der Merwe was fantastic. 4 defenders beating, made lots of good runs, was industrious in defense. He was very, very good. RJ Smith was another one that, when we stood out. I thought Zach Berger and Tennis de Beer was a late addition to the team in place of George Whitehead. I thought they were very good, and that combination is blossoming. And two very exciting players who are starting to step up. And I think a lot of franchises will be looking at them thinking, listen, that would add some good depth to our side. Like somebody like a Zach Berger could definitely do a job at some of the other unions. Even Tennis de Beer is a nice young player. But and then for the Sharks, look, Anthony Foley went off early, which is a bit unfortunate because I think he was quite an exciting player when he came on. But I thought Mani Liebach was quite good when he came on, scored a try. Curwin Bosch is a bit of I thought was pretty poor overall. Kicked reasonably well. Not quite as well as Tennis de Beer, who just did not miss a kick the entire night. Brilliant performance by him. But it's sometimes just sort of a bit, not quite at his best. But I think the Sharks rather just weren't at their best last night and just weren't playing particularly. Even like last week against the Cheetahs, some of these sides just haven't quite pitched up and not quite. They just don't look sharp, And I think they continue to play the Sharks last night. But for me, you look at the tackle statistics and it is appalling. It is appalling. You look at the Griquas, only 1, 2, 3 players didn't miss a tackle. Everybody else missed a tackle. Andrew Bierwinkel was asked to make 1 tackle and he missed it. It's just the tackle statistics are not good enough. Zach Berger I thought was very good, but he missed 3 tackles, made 3 tackles. It's just a lot of missed tackles in both sides. I thought RJ Smith was very good, made 6 tackles, 3 turnovers. He was quite good on the attack. He definitely stepped up. But even if you look at the Sharks as well, also lots of missed tackles here and there, and just it's just not good enough at this level. Oxenchair continues to be very good. Thought he was quite a bit of a quiet in games compared to some of his usual standards, but he was good. But it continues to, and I know I sound like a stuck record. I know I keep harping on about this, but it is a problem. It is a problem. The defense systems, the one-on-one tackling, it hasn't been good enough. And look, 33-34, it makes for a great game. And for the viewer, there was some decent tries. There was a very nice try that Dylan Richardson scored, which is a very nice team try from the Sharks. But I think the big thing that the Griquas can take away from that game is arguably the first time in this competition, they looked competitive. And look, I mean, they should have won. They were the better side. In many ways, Chiefs were the better side for a large part of the game as well against the Sharks. Even the Lions have played against the Sharks. So I think Sharks have been very good at being able to win ugly, which I can keep saying is why their Super Rugby chances are sort of alive, because they're managing to win games where they don't play particularly well, which is a very good thing to have in your arsenal. Because then if you do start playing well, you start putting in big performances and you get big results. But it was quite an even game. The breakdown was pretty even. I mean, there was 95% breakdowns of rucks won by the Griquas, 91% by the Sharks. Griquas have been very good ruck time throughout the entire competition. Lineouts were a bit sloppy. 81% won by the Griquas, 76% won by the Sharks. So, but I mean, scrums won. Neither team lost a scrum, so it was a very even when it came scrum time. So credit to the Griquas front row who stood up, because it is a good Sharks front row. But I think the Griquas, it was a bit of a Griquas of old. Griquas have always been quite an exciting side. I mean, I just remember that, especially playing at Kimberley during the Curry Cup, it was never an easy time to go to Kimberley and play against the Griquas. They were always a tough team to play. And last night they looked like that. It was a team that was difficult to beat. Whereas the Stormers last weekend, they looked pretty poor and they were very open and it was quite easy to beat. But so last night was good to see the Griquas back and looking like a much better side. Still lots of improvement, and I think that much like the Pumas, they kind of just didn't know what to do. They were in the lead, and in many ways they were a bit shell-shocked. I mean, at the end of the day, you kick a penalty and you make it 31-30. You've got to anticipate they were going to go short. They were going to go short. They had to go short. You're never going to retain a kickoff if you go deep. So you had to prepare for that, and Spoo and Corsi, one man managed to outjump them and get by. You had to have your locks or a couple of players there where you've got a lifter and you can get into a position to win back that short restart. So just sort of basics there. They just didn't quite know how to see the game off, which is why they ended up losing. And credit to Curwin Bosch who slotted the last minute penalty, but it should have been a match down by the Griquas. You got the penalty, you were ahead, you retained that kickoff and you kick it out. I mean, it was over full time when they kicked off. So it really was a Griquas loss rather than a Sharks win in many ways, if you have to look at it like that. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Jump in there. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner there. Smash a like. Let me know what you think of the game. No Sharks versus Pumas today. COVID has brought in, has forced that to be changed. And I think that's another sort of reason why I keep saying we can't look at these competitions and think of things like using this as the benchmark for Pro 16 next year. And I mean, to be fair, these titles don't really mean much. Unfortunately, and it's horrible to say, the Curry Cup might mean a little bit more. But like the Super Rugby title, which has been decided next weekend, the Lions didn't play 2 games at this stage. Have lost 2 games, arguably 2 games where they could have won, especially if they managed to be at the stronger side, which they didn't because of COVID. But this is why I keep saying that COVID has been a case of making it really difficult for teams to put out their best side, which is why it's so difficult to judge this competition in terms of where teams are, because it's so affected. And hopefully in a year's time, when hopefully you've got a bit of vaccine and everything's sort of back to normal, it's be much easier to judge the quality and the standards of the teams we have. But let me know what you think about that in the comments as well. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it locked on Forever Sports. Make sure you turn the notifications so that you never miss a moment. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you very, very soon.